Peace, peace, peace. What's going on? Hope everybody's doing well. All right, let's get started. Peace and blessings to everybody watching on social media. Peace and blessings to everybody watching on Insight Timer. As you come in, let me know how you doing. Say hello. Good to see you. I see we got a couple of people here tonight. Let me know how you doing. Let me know where you from. Let me know how you feeling. Angela, what's up? Angela, how are you? Who else we got in the building tonight? You doing good? Okay, Arizona. All right, awesome. Awesome. I know it had to be hot in Arizona today because it was hot over here. It was like I think it was like 90 degrees. I'm in Maryland, so I know Arizona had to be like 110. Yeah, too hot. Yeah, that's what I figured. All right, we're gonna wait a little bit for everybody to come in. I usually get started at the 7 minute mark, but yeah, had a really cool time today. Hung out with my sons. Um, last Sunday I was hanging out with the boys. And I'm driving around. I told them let's just drive around and see what happens, see if we can find something to do. And as I'm driving around, my youngest, he's like, "Daddy, we should go to a kung fu store." So I'm like, "A kung fu store?" I said, "I don't think they have any kung fu stores around here." So I actually googled kung fu store, and there actually was a kung fu store in DC. So we actually went there. I bought them two staffs, to like a big long wooden staff, the stick to practice with. And then I happened to see something I thought was kind of cool. I'm gonna show you. I happened to get this. It's a little dragon thingy. I got it for decoration, and then you open it up. It's like a blade. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I like the way that looks. So I got that. So when I put together and organize and set up my workspace, I have this for decoration. I think it'd be pretty cool. Yeah, when I got it for a decent price too, it wasn't bad at all. And then I got this. I got this statue of Buddha that I had that I purchased, which I like the way it looks. I just gotta set up my workspace. Like right now, you can't see much of my workspace, but yeah, it's a mess in here. It's a mess. My kids use this workspace. This is their art room. They call it the art room. I call it an office. They call it an art room. So they come in here and do what they want to do. So I gotta spend some time. Probably not tomorrow, but probably this weekend and clean up in here. Get a little bit more organized. Get some feng shui going in here. Yep. And then I gotta make time to do some more writing. I want to write some more songs. I'm excited. I'm super excited. This month, July, is meditation month. So it's meditation month because I said it's meditation month. I declare July meditation month from here on in. So on my social media, I've been doing meditations, and I also uploaded two I uploaded a new meditation on my Insight Timer page. So have a look at that meditation. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna do another one before the month is over with, and I want to do some meditation hip hop music, but I haven't got the right instrumental yet. And then on top of that, if I use an instrumental, if there's a sample in it, we got to clear the sample. It's the whole thing. So hopefully, I'll get something. I'll get two more pieces up there before the end of July for you guys to enjoy. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Meditation month. Meditation month this month has been pretty cool. So far, I like it, and I want to do this. I want to do this every year. Everybody can declare whatever they can declare whatever month they want. I saw something that said like T-shirt day or pizza day or something like that. So you got all these days and all these months on the calendar. We can have one if we want. Hey Daria, how you doing? I don't know. That's a good question. Have you guys gotten the notifications for the live to start? That is a good question. I'm not sure. Yeah, usually with me for the people I follow on Insight Timer. Um, you said you've never got a notification. Yours don't pop up anymore. Okay, okay. Well, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I did notice there's been like a dip in my numbers over the last couple of months, but I didn't think anything of it. We added to the calendar. Okay, so maybe that's what I got to do. Maybe I got to contact the tech team and let them know people aren't getting notifications. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. Appreciate it. How's everybody doing? How is everybody feeling tonight? Hopefully you guys are feeling good. Sammy, what's up? Sammy, what's going on? I got a haircut. Yes, I did. I did get a haircut. I did get a haircut. I'm so tempted to let it grow. I keep fantasizing about having just a huge afro. But I know it's gonna take because me and my friends used to always laugh when you grow your hair out, right? Right now it looks good, and then like you go through an ugly phase. As your hair is growing and it adapts to your face, you gotta go through an ugly phase. You're gonna be ugly for like a couple of months while your hair is growing. And I don't know. I don't know if my confidence can handle being ugly for like 2 months. And then once your hair grows the height that you want, you can style it how you want and it'll look good. But you gotta go through that ugly phase while your hair's growing. I don't want to go through that ugly phase. I do not want to go through the ugly phase. I got too much on my plate as is. That's true. Adele, you 100% correct. That's what the hat is for. Yeah, you're right. I do got that smooth brown hat too. I can throw that on. But I don't want to wear a hat all the time while I'm ugly. Yeah, I might. Yeah, but y'all always give me positive energy though. I might just grow my hair out. You never know. I grew it out before for a little while. It was a little bit higher than this, and it looked kind of good. But I want a huge afro. I want a huge afro. But I can never grow one. I can grow a beard at the drop of a hat, but I want a big, huge afro. Oh yeah. All right, let's get started. We're at the 7 minute mark now. So let's begin. So I want to talk about the commerce of insanity, which is kind of a odd title. I know it's an odd title, but what we're going to talk about tonight is the fact that we have an industry, right? We have a whole industry and a whole economy on mental illness. We have a whole economy upon mental illness, and there's a lot of people out there who are struggling who really need help. And because of the fact that so much of what's happening in the mental health industry is stuff that people need consistently and continuously. It's not cure based, it's not result based, it's treatment based. So when everything is treatment based, there's a whole industry that depends upon people not being cured of their mental health issues. There's a lot of radical thinkers out there, psychologists out there who are trying to figure out ways to offer forms of treatment where people can deal with their issues and overcome their issues. You guys have heard me say on numerous occasions that I believe that meditation and mindfulness can help to overcome depression and anxiety. I told you guys my story a bunch of times. For those of you guys who may not remember, who may be new here, I used to have extreme panic attacks and depression with intense suicidal ideations and drinking and self-destructive behavior and all that kind of stuff. And then I ended up stabilizing myself not through the use of medication but through the use of meditation. I started to meditate every single day. Started off with just 5 minutes of repeating my affirmation, I am in the present moment. And that was enough to begin the process of altering my brain and changing my brain. After 6 months, I saw a major change in my thought process. After a year, even more of a change. And after a year and a half, I can honestly say, in my personal experience, that I overcame depression. And that's a tricky term because when you say overcame depression, then people are going to say, well, don't say that. I've had people tell me don't say that because people are going to get the wrong idea. They're going to stop taking their medications and they're going to stop seeing a therapist. I'm not saying stop taking your medication. I'm not saying stop seeing a therapist. But what I'm saying is have a conversation with your therapist, have a conversation with your doctor about, you know, about over about ways you can overcome mental illness. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask, can I stop taking this pill at some point? Is there any chance of me not being on this pill? because I think that a lot of us go into, into therapy and into treatment, and we kind of like, in a very subtle way, it's kind of implied that this is going to be a forever thing. If you're taking medications, nobody gives you an end date for the medication. They don't give you the medication and say, okay, April 4th, you can stop. It's implied that you're going to just be taking this forever. And I don't necessarily think that we have to see things that way. I just think that so much of it is profit oriented that we have to really stop and consider whether or not people are doing what's best for us to help us overcome mental illness, or if they're profiting off our sickness. And not only do I want to talk about the industry of mental health treatment, but I want to talk about how people benefit from it professionally and as far as the industry, but also in our personal lives. So let's get started. I want to start off with what I refer to as the economy of ecology. What is an economy? An economy is the wealth and resources of a country or region, especially in terms of production and consumption. Mama B, how you doing? Glad you're here. So yeah, economy is the wealth and resources of a country or region, especially in terms of production and consumption. So that's what the economy is. That means somebody's making something, somebody's consuming it. Somebody's putting something out there, and somebody else is feeding off of what's being put out there. It's ecology. What's an ecology? Ecology is the branch of biology that deals with the relations of organisms to one another and their physical surroundings, right? So there is an economy of ecology. How we relate to one another, how we interact with one another, what we produce in those interactions, and then finding ways to monetize that. So it's or consuming the energy, even if it's not necessarily with money. People are going to figure out some kind of way to create a profit with the energy that we're putting out there, and that they're taking from us, right? Now, because we benefit each other, there is an economy that we all feed into and we all feed from, right? So all of us, regardless of who we are and what we're doing, we're all contributing something to the collective human interaction. We're all contributing something, and we're all benefiting from what we contribute. So if I give you my time, you benefit from my time, and you get energy from my time, and then you take that and you take it home to your family, right? Everybody's putting something in, and everybody's taking something out. And in a sane, stable, healthy environment with sane, stable, healthy people, you create a healthy economy and a healthy ecology. Follow me so far? So we're all feeding off of each other. We're putting out positive energy. We're getting positive energy back. Nobody's being drained. Nobody's being abused. Nobody's being taken advantage of. Everybody's putting in energy, regardless of what. If you're alive and you're active and you have a job and you're working with people and you're having relationships, that is an ecology. And the ecology depends upon the economy. The economy depends upon the ecology. Everything feeds off of each other. We feed off of each other. We build each other up, right? In a healthy, sane, stable economy and ecology, right? However, there's another kind of economy and ecology. And this economy feeds off the unstable and feeds off individuals who are mentally ill, right? So there's a lot of the economy that benefits from people being sick and staying sick. Pilar, how are you? There's a lot of the economy, a lot of industries benefit from us being sick and staying sick. There's no profit to be made in the cure. There's no profit to be made in helping people to overcome. So conversations like the one we're having about, my experiences using mindfulness and meditation to overcome depression, this is something that would be considered controversial. It'll be considered controversial to say that through mindfulness and meditation, which scientists have proven can help to regulate your emotions. It can help change certain parts of the brain. It can strengthen the vagus nerve, which helps you to rebound faster after anxiety, after a panic attack, after stressful situations. You rebound faster by strengthening the vagus nerve through meditation and mindfulness and deep breathing, and through certain meditation and mindfulness techniques. You can actually you can actually change your neurochemistry when you engage in mindfulness and meditation, and you're in a deep state of meditation. Your brain produces more dopamine. You produce more serotonin. So you're actually altering your brain chemistry through meditation. But people would rather take a medication approach But you can make a profit off of that. You can't really make a profit off of meditation and mindfulness by telling people, hey, you should meditate for a year and a half and you won't need the medication. They won't be able to sell you anything by telling you this, right? So let's go over some of the money that's being made out there. And this is kind of interesting to me. I really wanted to study and find out exactly how big this industry, this mental health industry is. So I did a little digging, a little bit, didn't really go as in depth as I wanted to, but psychotropic drugs. In the what when you're dealing with psychotropic drugs or drugs that are going to have an effect on the brain, they have different segments for each kind of psychotropic drug. So psychotropic drugs that are in the antipsychotic segment, that is a $20 billion, that made $20 billion in 2022. They estimate that by 2032, it'll be worth $30 billion. So just that one part, psychotropic drugs, antipsychotics, made $20 billion. By 2032, they believe the industry will be worth $30 billion. That's a lot of money, $30 billion for producing and administering antipsychotic drugs, antidepressant drugs. I couldn't find any numbers for 2022, but the antidepressant industry was worth 15.87 billion in 2021. It's a lot of money. Almost $16 billion in 2021. Now let's look a little bit deeper. When you have individuals who have untreated mental health issues, and I know because I've worked with young men and young women and with students who had untreated, undiagnosed mental health issues. This is in the U.S. Some of the statistics I'm going to provide are going to be global, and I'll let you know which ones are global, but most of these are for the U.S. Now, in the U.S., individuals who are not getting properly taken care of, they're not getting their mental health issues properly addressed, they usually end up in the prison industrial complex, or they usually end up in some kind of a mental health facility, some kind of detention center. I work with adolescents who have behavioral problems, so they'll be sent to these behavioral health facilities, right? Well, the prison industrial complex is worth $4 billion a year. It makes $4 billion every single year. So imagine all of these individuals who are not necessarily hardened criminals. They're individuals who are mentally ill, trauma, depression, anxiety. So it makes them act erratically. It makes them do things that are unpredictable. And then what happens? They get snatched up and they end up being put in the prison industrial complex. And once they're in there, they become a number, and that number becomes a monetary value. So you can calculate the value of a human being when they're put into this industry. And that industry profits and makes $4 billion a year by housing individuals, many of whom have mental health issues. Globally, there's a big industry for augmented reality because a lot of people are having a difficult time handling real life. And a lot of people get absorbed in augmented reality and escapism. And globally, the augmented reality industry is worth $209 billion. Now, people find a cure for their mental illnesses and they're able to engage in reality and they're able to live their lives to the fullest. The entire industry would be broken. The entire industry would be broken. Within a matter of years, if people said to themselves, we need to find a way to overcome anxiety, depression for people. We've spent a lot of money trying to figure out how to get people to manage their mental illness. But what if individuals had the ability to overcome their mental illness? Keep in mind that this is not new. Keep in mind, people have been studying the mind and the way the mind works for a very long time. In Morocco, the first mental health facility was founded in a place, I believe it was called Fez. And there was a place in Fez, Morocco, where they had a mental health facility where they were studying the mind, trying to figure out how to cure mental illness. Microdosing. I never really read that much about microdosing. I've heard of people using psilocybin as a way of treating mental illness. I've never read that much about that. But yeah, I've heard the same thing, that microdosing can be very valuable with treating mental illness. I've definitely heard about that. I gotta study more about it. I gotta look into that. Thank you, Pilar. Appreciate that. But going back to what I was saying, ancient cultures have figured out ways to assist people to help people overcome mental illness. You look at these ancient Hindu gurus and these mystics. What were they doing? They were spending a tremendous amount of time trying to help people overcome things like depression and anxiety. They talked about how life was suffering. They talked about how so much of existence was just miserable and unbearable. But guess what? When you think about it and you read a lot of these stories about these gurus and these mystics and these bodhisattvas, a lot of these individuals were suffering from psychological maladies. I was actually going to write a paper called "The Maladies of the Avatars." I still want to write about that, but I was going to write about how these individuals, Jesus Christ, Buddha, and all these guys, were suffering from mental illnesses, and they had to figure out some kind of a way to use an ancient form of psychology to treat themselves. The Buddha used meditation and mindfulness as a means of overcoming his malaise and his depression with life. He felt like life was completely just suffering, just existence was suffering. Period. That sounds like a person going through depression, intense depression. And so he went on a journey. He left his family behind. Now, even that in and of itself shows that he was suffering some kind of mental illness. He left his whole family behind because his depression and his sadness and his dismay was so intense. He said, "I gotta go." How to change your mind? I just saw that today. I'm gonna check that out. Omega 3 ashwagandha, vitamin D3, B12. Okay, excellent. Off as wow. So you changed your diet, and now you're off antidepressants. That's amazing, and that's a beautiful thing, and that's exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about alternatives to taking medications. We're talking about ways to get the results that you need to empower yourself psychologically and overcome mental illness. Overcome it, beat it without the pills. Excellent, excellent. And it's very important to remember that this is a conversation. I keep stressing and keep saying this. This is a conversation that nobody's really having. Nobody's really having this conversation about how to overcome depression. When someone is diagnosed with depression, they get the diagnosis and they get the medication all at the same time. Very rarely have I heard of anybody who's going to see a therapist or psychologist who says, "Can I overcome this? Can I beat this? Before you give me this first pill, can I beat this?" I know individuals who suffer from manic depression, and in subtle ways, they figured out how to kind of control it. When they would have certain stimulus and stimuli in the environment, it would trigger a manic phase. So that when they remove that stimulus or reduce that stimulus, they were able to avoid the manic swings, and they were able to avoid the manic swings and the depression. Nature walks, yep. Nature walks, yes. Absolutely. Going out into the sun is an excellent way to regulate your mood. If you're feeling down about something, just going out and getting sunlight. Your body needs that sunlight. It absorbs that sunlight and it kicks in so many chemicals. And it kicks in and creates melatonin and vitamin D, which regulates the body and also helps you to sleep and relax. Excellent. You go to a holistic therapist. Excellent. Beautiful. Beautiful. And think about how many people economically are taking advantage of individuals who are mentally ill, people who are really suffering, who are just looking for a way out. And these industries say, you know what, we got the way out for you. Just pay us a price. And I'm not necessarily saying that every person who offers you a medication or every person who takes a medication is somehow a part of some swindle or a part of some kind of destructive relationship. However, I do think that we should be asking more questions about what we're putting in our bodies and what we're allowing to become a part of our daily routine. Because there's a lot of individuals out there who may be misdiagnosed. I used to work at a school. You know how many kids I knew who were diagnosed with ADHD? He has ADHD. He has mild ADHD. She has mild ADHD. And then come to find out, no, these kids don't have ADHD. They're just going through hell at home. These are kids who've seen a lot and are traumatized, and they can't sit still because they don't feel safe. And it's amazing how quickly a lot of these kids, people will try to shove these pills down these kids' throats. Because if you're giving these kids pills and you give them a diagnosis at an early age, that means as they get older, that becomes a part of their identity. And so you can stare them and push them wherever you want for the rest of their lives or rest of their educational lives. So if you give a kid a diagnosis of oppositional defiance disorder when he was 11 or 12 years old, then you can, if he goes to a different school or a different environment and acts out, you could, hey, you know what, he has a diagnosis, get him out of here. throw him in that little padded room. He has to go to special ed classes. He can't handle a regular classroom. She can't handle a regular classroom because they got a diagnosis when they were kids. So it's going to follow them everywhere. Oh, wow. Cynthia, okay. You're on your way off psych meds after almost your entire. Okay. All right. So you're transitioning off the psych meds now, Cynthia? Okay. Wow. Well, best of luck with that. Best of luck with that. And if you need any help or assistance, make sure you stay in touch with your healthcare provider and let them know if you're experiencing anything. And it's going to be a little bit scary, but I believe you can do it. I believe you can do it. You had the conversation, you did the research. I believe you can do it. Best of luck with that. Do it outpatient. Okay. 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 Good. Good. And now for the first time in a long time, you're gonna be able to, you know, you're gonna be able to come in close contact and touch reality. Without because when you have because I used to I used to drink pot pills. So you drinking pot pills is almost like a wall to protect you from reality. So you don't feel the full sensation of reality. You feel like a little bit numbed a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly, exactly. You can feel life again. You feel it's like when I'm doing this right here, just rubbing my hands together, it feels beautiful. But when you're intoxicated, you're drunk, and you're high, and you're on medication, you won't be able to feel this sensation as much. Now you're gonna come in close contact with reality for the first time in a long time. It's a good thing, beautiful thing. Yes, yes, Pilar, very good point. Important to have a therapist of color. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Absolutely. I 100% agree. 100% agree. And so we talked a little bit about the industry, right? The industry and the commerce of insanity. But I want to take it a little bit deeper, really quickly, because I want to talk about the ways that not only do you have an entire industry taking advantage of individuals with mental health issues, but what about your personal life? Yeah, you're right, and I mean you're 100% correct. Wow. And you know what? They tried to put me in a special ed class as well when I was a kid. I couldn't see very well. I needed glasses, but they didn't know I couldn't see. So I would read the board, I wouldn't be able to see. So they thought that I couldn't read. They were going to put me in special ed classes. And my mother happened to stick up for me, and she was like, and I got an eye exam, and they said, this kid can't see. And then they gave me my glasses. And when they gave me my glasses, within like 2 weeks, they had to put me in a gifted and talented program because I was a sharp little dude. I was a real smart little kid. But they were going to throw me into the remedial classes. So absolutely, they will make these very quick assumptions about you, and believe me, when they make these assumptions about you when you're young, they will follow you throughout your educational career. You'll have to work very hard to get those diagnoses and get those labels off of you. But yeah, let's talk about how individuals in our personal lives take advantage of us when we're mentally ill. There's a lot of individuals out there who will take advantage of you when you're mentally ill and you're unstable, and they will feed off of your energy. They'll feed off of your life. They'll get what they want from you. People will take advantage of you financially, take advantage of you emotionally, they take advantage of you mentally, they'll take advantage of you sexually. How many times have we been in situations where we were going through depression and somebody could smell it? Somebody could smell your depression, smell your vulnerability like a shark in water, and they'll take full advantage of you. They'll take full advantage of you. They'll fill your head up with some story and have your thoughts spinning. They'll give you a little bit of attention, a little bit of time, a little bit of affection, and next thing you know, you're wrapped around their fingers. And they're taking full advantage of you. And it's a lot of individuals who want you to stay right there. They want you to stay right there. How many individuals do you know when you decided to get your life together and get your mind right, and you wanted to stop drinking, stop using drugs, you wanted to eat healthy, you wanted to lose weight? How many people around you have said, no, you should not? I can tell you, I had a bunch of people tell me, no, you shouldn't. When I said I'm going to stop drinking, I had people actually get offended, like I smacked their mother or something. What do you mean you're going to stop drinking? What's wrong with you? What are you talking about? I had a friend of mine cry when I said I wasn't going to drink no more. I'm not going to drink anymore. What you mean? Literal tears. Literal tears. Because individuals, they benefit more from you, or they feel they benefit more from you when you're in a position of weakness. They can get whatever they want from you. You're not going anywhere. And they don't have to worry about growing to keep up with you. There's a lot of individuals who care about you and they say they love you, but they love you with conditions. They love you with the condition that you remain sick. They love you with the condition that you don't try to overcome your sickness or your illness. They love you with the condition that you don't grow. Boundaries, yeah, absolutely. You definitely need to separate yourself from those individuals, but you don't, because they're benefiting from your mental illness. That's why it's so important for us to take our mental health more seriously, because your mental health, your mental health and your mental stability decides in many ways where you fit into the economy of ecology. Yeah, alcohol is a drug. Yeah, as soon as you say I don't drink, you get a million questions. Why don't you drink? Why don't you drink? Why you don't drink? What you mean you don't drink? Why you don't drink? And I just tell people, yeah, I don't drink. I'm on a spiritual journey right now. Spiritually, I don't want to drink, and that a lot of times that works. Sometimes it don't though. Sometimes people don't want to hear that. But yeah, think about how many individuals in your life, how many relationships that you were in, or the individual you were with wanted you to stay in a particular place in life. Been in recovery over 6 years. Salute to you, Cynthia. That's excellent. That's beautiful. 6 years. Congratulations. Excellent. But yeah, so going back to what I was saying, so many people in our personal lives benefit from our weakness. They feel more powerful when we're weak. And when they see us begin to stand up and strengthen ourselves and empower ourselves, what do? They get angry, they get jealous, they get aggressive. They start doing whatever they possibly can to throw roadblocks in your way. They'll even threaten to end the relationship. They'll say that you changed. They'll call you fake. They'll say you're not the same person you used to be. I don't know you anymore. You're fake. What's wrong with you? Because they benefit. People benefit from when you're sick, when you're weak, when you're unstable. There's a lot of individuals who have low self-esteem, and then they find somebody else with even lower self-esteem, and then they will make themselves feel powerful, which in and of itself can be like a drug. They want to feel powerful, so they find somebody weaker, and they will put their foot on your neck and crush your windpipe. People want to block your light. That's one thing that you got to remember, ladies and gentlemen. You got to remember, people want to block your light. There's a lot of individuals out there who are out there, and they know that once you become powerful, you won't want nothing to do with them anymore. And they're suffering from their own issues and suffering from their own trauma for sure. But at the same time, if they won't take responsibility for their trauma, then you can't either. Yeah, Pilar, that's excellent. Yeah. Don't talk about it, be about it. Don't think about it. Because if you think about it, you're gonna keep convincing yourself to keep drinking. Trust me, I know. Yeah, they want your light for themselves. But it says in the Bible, don't hide your light under a bushel. You gotta let your light shine. And a lot of times these individuals are afraid of that. They're afraid of competition. If they see your light shine, it's going to attract other people around. They don't want other people to come around you, because what if you find somebody more interesting? What if you find somebody more stable? What if you find somebody who loves you and cares about you, but not is not trying to manipulate you? Because they know they're trying to manipulate you. And whenever it comes to a manipulator, manipulators are always very, very nervous about their tenuous grasp on other people, because manipulation don't last forever. Why does my hand, when I do like this, why does my hand look so fat? My hand look like a pig hoof. Jesus. Old chubby hands. You experienced that quite a few times. Yeah, exactly. When individuals know that they're manipulating you, they know that they're trying to keep you in a little box. They're always in a state of hypervigilance and anxiety because they know all it takes is one person, one moment, 1 second of realization when you realize you don't need them and they really can't control you. That's why individuals who are manipulators, they have to manipulate you constantly. They got to manipulate your mood. They got to destroy your confidence. They got to attack your self-esteem because they benefit too much from keeping you in a weakened position. And if you become strong and start questioning them and realize your divinity and realize who you are, they're not going to be able to control you anymore. And so many people are controlling because they're just afraid, or simply because they benefit more. They try to benefit as much as they possibly can and give as little as possible. And that's when you get this whole twisted commerce of insanity. Same thing with the industry. People are benefiting from you being sick and weak. And the same thing happens in your personal life. As above, so below. As without, so within. So you got this big, huge industry trying to benefit out people being sick and keeping them sick. Why do you think it is? You could turn on your TV, and I remember when we were in war in Iraq, you could turn on your TV and see the war. Like you could literally turn on your TV and just see people dropping bombs. Why do you think you could turn on your TV and just see, police beating people down and watch a murder? You could turn on the news and just watch a murder. There's too many people who benefit from keeping you in a state of hyper anxiety. They want to keep you afraid, keep you nervous, keep you scared, keep you sick. If you turn on your TV, like right now, we're on a app, Insight Timer, and we're talking about mental health and we're talking about meditation, right? When you turn on your TV, how often do you see that? How often do you see on TV something about mental health and meditation, mindfulness, and proper nutrition and getting off alcohol and not using? How often do you see that? They benefit too much from keeping you in a state of hyper anxiety. When you're nervous and fight or flight kicks in, right? When you're afraid, fight or flight kicks in, or fight, flight, or freeze that kicks in. You're not thinking. The prefrontal cortex shuts down to save energy in the body, so that the rest of the body, the sympathetic nervous system kicks in. Boom. And there's no thought process involved. It skips right past the thinking part of the brain. The body takes over. And that's how they want you, in a constant state of the body taking over. Why you think it is every time you turn on TV it's something about sex? Somehow, some way, they figure out ways to put sex into everything. And I'm a normal guy. I like sex too, but sometimes I'm like, geez. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely agree with you, Mama B. You're 100% correct. Constant fear. Constant fear, because if you woke up one day and said, I'm not going to be afraid anymore, I'm going to take control of my environment, take control of my circumstances, and I'm going to get other like-minded individuals and organize them. We're all going to change the world for the better. You're not spending any money. They can pressure you or scare you into spending money or voting or buying stuff you don't need or fighting a war or anything else, or supporting a political candidate who don't care about you, or supporting a educational agenda that don't educate our children. Our children don't know how to create food from the earth. They don't know how to regulate their emotions. They don't know how to sustain friendships. They don't know mathematics in a competitive way. They don't know technology in a competitive way. America's falling behind very quickly. But they need to create an educational system based on subjugation of the masses. So these individuals are benefiting. They're benefiting from us being unstable. So how do you rebel? You rebel within. Stabilize yourself. You stabilize yourself. That's how you rebel. You cut off their lifeline by becoming more self-aware and self-realized. When you self-actuate, you cut off a lot of people's power. Exactly, Cynthia. Go within and heal. It's hard to take advantage of a healed individual because they're not scared or freaking out. They're not easy to manipulate. They're not looking for approval. They don't have low self esteem. You can't bully them. You can't push them around. Even if you threaten a sane person with death, you still can't control them because a sane person is not going to do something insane to avoid death. In order to make sense of this universe, in order to make sense of morality, in order to be righteous, a sane, stable person will die as opposed to giving in to the absurdity of the demands of our culture. And that kind of a person can't be manipulated or bullied and not even really killed. And so a lot of people will do whatever they possibly can to subjugate an individual who starts to think for him or herself. And once you decide that you want to try to live life without the medications and you want to try to live life eating proper food as opposed to getting sick and then taking a pill for it, take a lot of money out of people's pockets. I remember when I was younger, I would get sick and get a cold, and I would buy a pork shoulder whenever I got a cold. I would buy a big pork shoulder, have my boy Aunt cook the pork shoulder up. I would get a fifth of whiskey, and I would get NyQuil. So that would be like what, like about $50. So every time I caught a flu or a cold, I would spend about $50. And then after a while, I decided, well, let me just change how I eat and meditate more often and get more sunlight and drink more water. Now I very rarely ever get sick, and I don't drink no more. So I just put a huge dent in the economy. So imagine if everybody did that. Not saying nobody got to follow my example, but let's just say more people decided to try alternative ways of living their lives without constant consumption and trying to avoid becoming sick as opposed to trying to treat the sickness. Imagine how many people would lose power, how quickly they would lose power, how fast everything will come crumbling down. We live in a country where people talk about prison reform and they write these crime bills, but we don't really want prison reform because too many people make money off of it. We've actually had situations in which individuals sued state governments because crime was going down, and so less people were going to jail. So a lot of these companies that own, or these individuals that own these private prisons, would get upset at the state and sue the state and say, "Hey, we don't have enough people in prison. We're not making no profit this year. You got to pay us because crime is going down." Can you imagine that? We live in a country where when there's less crime, individuals get mad because it's cutting into their profits. And they're saying, "Wow, it's a good thing there's less crime." There's somebody saying, "Well, we're trying to run the business here." That's insane. That's demented. And so, in order for us to become stronger, the first thing we got to do is we got to point out when something is nuts. We got to point out when something is insane. If you're a sane person, the first thing you got to do is define what's sane and what's not, and then act accordingly. Too many of us are letting things just slide because we don't want to ruffle no waves. We don't want to insult nobody. Everybody's so delicate. Everybody wants to push and promote their agenda. Anami, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Mama B, you're right. We are living in a place that doesn't really want any good for us because you can't make money off that. Can't make money off doing good for anything. Yvette, thank you. Yeah, exactly. That's another thing, Natalia. Yes, Natalie. Excuse me. I'm sorry. A lot of people want the quick fix because nobody wants to hear you can solve the issue, but it'll take you a year or two of consistent work for you to overcome the issue. Nobody wants to hear that. And that's why a lot of people get stuck in this. That's why a lot of people get stuck in the trap. They get stuck in Indra's net. They get stuck in Indra's net because they want the quick fix. And so anybody who comes along and says, "Take this pill, take this shot, smoke this weed," that's the quick fix. That's how you get trapped in the first place. Your desire for immediate gratification is being manipulated, so you get stuck in a trap. You've been broken down to an animal level. See, a human being can see a trap and say, yeah, there's something really, there's a piece of pie, there's a piece of cake right there inside of a bear trap. I want that pie, but I don't want that bear trap to crush my leg. So I'm going to avoid the pie. But a lot of us been broken down to an animal level. So we get the, oh, look, a quick fix. There's a pill. There's some liquor. There's some weed. Oh, look, there's some pornography over there. Okay, yeah, let's do it. Hyper arousal, hyper stimulation. And then you get stuck in a trap, stuck in a trap. And the thing about it is, the trap is depicted as if, first and foremost, you're choosing the trap, and second of all, the trap is depicted as if it's an escape. They tell you a trap is an escape. Take this pill and you'll escape from the pressure, but then you'll become dependent upon the pill to feel normal. Take this pill and it'll be an escape from anxiety, but then you'll be stuck in a trap where you can't really experience life fully and completely. And once again, I'm sure I'm going to choose my words carefully because I'm not knocking anybody who feels like they need the medication, and I'm not knocking anybody who feels like they need to, to regulate their emotions through chemicals. But what I am saying is that let's have a conversation. A lot of us will engage in the use of medication without the conversation. That's what happened to me when I was, and I've told you guys this story as well. When I was, in the hospital having panic attacks, I didn't know what was wrong. I didn't know what was wrong. I had no idea what was wrong. I was having panic attacks. They were so severe, I was in the hospital. I thought I was going to die. And I remember the doctor walks in and he's like, "Here, take this pill." He didn't say what it was. He said, "Here, take this pill. You'll be all right." He said, "Take this pill and don't stop taking it. Once you take the first one, don't stop taking it. Take it for 10 days." And he turned and he walked out. And he said, "Here, this is an escape." That's what he was saying to me. I felt so afraid and so sick. And he said, "Here's the escape. Here's your way out." And I was broken down and to an animal level, to an animal level of thinking from fear. Because once again, once that fight, flight, or freeze kicks in, you're afraid, you're not thinking. The sympathetic the parasympathetic nervous system shuts down, sympathetic nervous system kicks in, prefrontal cortex is shut down, you lose your appetite, heart rate accelerates, cortisol levels shoot up, you're not thinking. Exactly, Cynthia. They don't want you to try the holistic first. Exactly, Pilar. Yep. Yeah, self-medication. Yes, Wendy. Self-medication only works. Well, actually, self-medication don't work at all. Self-medication don't work. Trust me, I know. I was the king of self-medication. I mean, walk into my apartment when I was younger, and it looked like a bar. You know what I mean? We had so much alcohol in there, and I had a roommate. He was a pothead. It was an interesting time. And self-medication doesn't work because the act of self-medicating only lasts for so long. You can only be drunk for so long. Then the alcohol wears off. You can only be high for so long, and the weed wears off. However, if you change how you think and change how you live, then the effects are more long lasting. And that's what people want. You want the long lasting effects, the long lasting effects of health and self empowerment and self actuation. Exactly, Pilar, and you're stuck with the same issue. That happened to me all the time. You're depressed, you have a drink, pass out, wake up, and you're still depressed. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's you had a very strong intellect at an early age, enemy. Yep, exactly. Exactly. Self medication is just another trap. Another false escape. Here, drink this, you'll escape. Take this pill, you'll escape. Right? Just another trap. Another trap in a long list of traps. Unfortunately. And it's sad. It's sad. But listen, don't let the wolves eat you. Addiction runs in your genes. It's a good thing you were aware of that. But listen, don't let don't let don't let the economy of ecology just completely consume you. Remember, you put out energy and you should get energy in return. Because an economy and an ecology is based upon your relationship, what you produce and what you consume, what you put out and what you get. That's how you avoid completely destroying yourself. If you give and give and give and give and give, eventually you'll be drained of your own internal resources. However, when you empower yourself and stabilize yourself, you're able to you're able to put out positive energy and get positive energy back. You'll surround yourself with individuals who mean you well, and you'll get the negativity and the negative individuals. You'll get them out of your life, and that's what you need to do. Which is going to be a difficult process. It's going to be a very difficult process, but at the same time, it's going to free you because that's what we truly want. We truly want freedom. Everything that we do, we're doing for some measure or some concept of freedom. You fall in love because you want to be free, to be vulnerable, and to be intimate, right? You start this job because you want the freedom to get the money to do what you want to do with it. You follow an artistic passion or artistic impulse. You're seeking some kind of artistic freedom, the freedom of expression, a deep and profound expression. Everything we're doing so that we can become more free. And that's pretty much the definition of self-actuation, ultimate level of freedom. And we can get there with one brain at a time, one person at a time. Take your instability and stabilize it as best you can. And watch how powerful you become, and watch how all the negativity around you and the negative people, they become weaker and weaker. Stop letting them feed off of us. Stop letting these wicked demonic vampires feed off of us and eat us alive. We don't have to be consumed, and we don't have to be consumers. Wow, this is a good conversation. Thank y'all so much for participating. This is awesome. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this convo. I appreciate y'all. Really appreciate y'all. I'm about to wrap it up now. Yeah, it's midnight where I am. So I'm gonna wrap it up now. But yeah, this is an excellent and amazing conversation. Salute to everybody who shared. You guys really opened up, and I really appreciate that. Really appreciate you guys opening up. I'm gonna be back here next week. Haven't selected a topic yet for next week, but as I mentioned, July is meditation month because we say it is. We're not waiting for nobody else to tell us what month it is. We're gonna declare this as meditation month. This is amazing, Cynthia. Yeah, yeah. I enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for the donation, Wendy. Appreciate it. Yvette, it's your birthday month. Happy birthday. All right, Cynthia, thank you for following. See you again. Yes, and guys, it's meditation month, so make sure you guys check out the new meditation I threw up on my page. I'm gonna do another one by the end of the week and throw it up there for you guys to enjoy as well. And thank y'all for stopping by. I'm gonna see you guys next week. Peace and blessings to you. I love you to life, love you to death, and I will see you guys next week, Wednesday, 11:11. Bat time, same bat channel. Peace.